I got peed on. I got peed on my first day of college without my consent, by the way. I didn't want this to happen to me. It was literally my first night away from home. I grew up in my house like most children do, some don't have houses. But I grew up kind of sheltered in the fact that I hadn't actually ever left my house for pretty much any reason. We were too poor for like sleepaway camp or whatever the fuck white people do. And I didn't go to people's sleepovers. I didn't go to people's houses for sleepovers. Mostly because my parents are not white. The friends that I had were all local in-town friends, so I didn't really have to go anywhere for the most part to hang out with anyone or do anything. Long story short, I was a very stay-at-home kind of kid. I was 18 and I'm leaving for school. School not too far away from where I live, so I know that I'm still in contact with my mom and dad, but I'm just far enough away to need to live away from home. And it was great. I loved not being at home. But on the first day, I walk into my room and I see my roommate. He is this kid who's obviously had more experience than I do with a lot of other stuff that maybe I wouldn't have had experience with if I didn't grow up how I grew up. I come in the room, I'm alone, I set up. My roommate comes in and he brings 4 of his other friends and they just help set his side of the room up and then they start drinking immediately. It was like a setup, alcohol. At this point, I'm 18 years old, fresh out of, my house. I've never drank alcohol in my life. And I didn't want to start drinking now with a stranger, so I was like, no thank you, I don't want anything. And they were like, all right, cool. He said, oh, we're gonna go to so-and-so's place to keep drinking some more. I'll see you later. And I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. I didn't really give a fuck. So they go to so-and-so's place, whatever. I go to sleep. At around 12 a.m. they come back, kind of early for New Jersey college time. And he wakes me up. He's like, hey, I just want to make sure it's okay with you. This friend of mine that's here, one of the friends from earlier, he got way too drunk. He can't drive home. Is it okay if he sleeps on the floor? I was like, yeah, sleep wherever the fuck you want. I don't really, yeah, do whatever you want. So he lays on the floor, piss drunk. My roommate goes to his bed. I go to my bed to keep sleeping. At around 3:30 in the morning, I hear running water. And I don't know where it's coming from. The bathroom's on the other side of the hallway. So it's very weird for me to just hear running water from nowhere. I knew it wasn't raining. It was early September and the skies were clear the whole day. The windows were closed. I wouldn't hear the water anyway. I'm opening my eyes slightly and I hear my roommate call me from the other side of the room, be like, Abraham. And I'm like, what? He's like, I'm so sorry. What the fuck are you sorry about? I just hear him whisper, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm so sorry. Who is he? I turn around finally, to face his side of the room. And I look up and I'm found with this dark figure of a person hovering over me. And I just see what appears to be his friend just looking over me in the bed with his penis out in his hand, peeing directly into my feet. At this point, I was covered with a blanket. So he was peeing on the blanket, but he was still peeing on my feet. I didn't know what to do. I didn't sign up for this. This was my first night away from home, ever. So, welcome to college. I kind of just laid there and watched because I was in such awe as to what was happening. I couldn't help but just stare and just laugh. I was laughing, literally laughing out loud because I was what the fuck is my life right now? Anyway, he finished because that's what happened. He finished peeing and he turns around, lays back on the floor, and says not a word. And I've noticed at this point, oh, he's sleepwalking. So I don't want to wake him up because I just don't want to be rude, even though he's peeing on me. I let him go back to sleep. I'm laughing my ass off because what else can I do? I take off my sheets, put them on the floor. I sleep without any sheets. It's fine. It's summertime. It doesn't matter. The next morning, I wake up and he wakes up. I'm not really angry as much as I'm just annoyed. I just want this guy to be held accountable for his actions. That's really all I want, So I wake him up. I'm like, wake up. I kick him. Wake up. You're on the floor. He goes, what? What the fuck? And I'm like, you peed on me last night. And he has this look on his face what? No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't pee on anyone. What the fuck? And I'm like, smell my fucking sheets. I guarantee that's your piss. He did. He actually did smell my sheets. And he turned to my roommate and was like, And my roommate was like, yeah, you peed on him last night. Like, I saw you. So my roommate's friend was like, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm gonna pay for your sheets. I'm gonna pay for your sheets to be washed. Like, don't worry about it. Like, we're gonna be cool. And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't care. I don't care. I literally, like, I am so flabbergasted with what's happening right now. My first day away from home, I don't give a fuck. I just want my sheets to be cleaned and I want this guy to leave. You know, nothing else. I want to move on with my life and pretend like this never happened. Or tell everyone I know. Because that's what I did from that moment on. So he leaves the room. My roommate and I talk. He apologizes for everything. And he has no fault in this. And I'm like, it's fine. You literally were not the one peeing on me. Like, don't worry about it. Half the year goes by. And then my roommate turns to me. I think at this point it was like February or something. And he's like, remember the guy that peed on your sheets? I'm like, yeah, what happened to him? He never, like, paid me for anything. He goes, well, actually, he wasn't planning on paying you. He was just gonna not come here ever again. And I was like, okay, I mean, I guess at this point, it's like water on the bridge. It's been 6 months. Like, what do you want me, like, what? But my roommate felt really bad, so, like, he gave me money, the equivalent of how much it would have been to wash my sheets, which is cool 6 months later after I already washed them, like, 25 times. And then after that, we were all good. I mean, like, me and my roommate didn't really have a lot of issues my freshman year of college, aside from, like, the part where he got arrested, and then I had the room to myself for a good 2 months, but that was a good thing on my part. Not too good for him, but it was good for me. He and I no longer talk just because after freshman year, we never had any mutual like interests or any mutual friends, so whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter. Fast forward, the story is not over. Fast forward 4 years later to my last year of college. I was in college 5 years. Last year of college, I am getting off the bus to go to my internship at the counseling center, and who do I see staring at me right as I'm getting off the bus but the guy that peed on my feet? He looks at me and I look at him and we're just staring at each other. And this moment feels like forever. Like, I'm sure it took like 2 seconds, but it felt like forever. He's just staring at me and I'm staring back at him. And I'm like, with my eyes, I'm like, I know what you did. And I know that you know what you did. I don't know if I said that correctly to him with my eyes, but apparently it worked, because he looked at me and then looked straight down. He could not look at me in the eyes. He got on that bus without saying a word, and I got off the bus without saying a word either. It was incredible, and I will never forget that moment in my entire life. It was literally like 4 years later, which means he spent 5 years, the same amount of time that I spent in college, the entire time actively avoiding me, or we just never saw each other. I went to a big school, but honestly, it's not that big. I don't know. And in the entirety of the 5 years, we've never seen each other. And out of an occasion, there he is, standing in front of me. I don't know if I would have done anything differently. Because let me say, this story has become one of my favorite stories to tell to people just because it's such a wild fucking story. Who's gonna come up to you and say, the first night I lived in college, I got peed on, and not because I wanted to? I do. College was crazy, honestly. College was a really wild, weird time, not in the way that like movies depict like 80s colleges to be, because that's really not how college is anymore, but just crazy in the fact that it was my first experience not being at home for a long period of time. I like officially moved out of my house for a while, like this whole thing, and I learned a lot as a person, and I grew a lot as a person, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I got peed on, which I'll never forget. And it's one of my favorite memories, actually, from school. Yeah, being peed on my first night of college is my favorite college memory. Can you... What's that say about me? Like, what does that say about me? Anyway, that was all I wanted to say. I just wanted to tell the story to whoever the fuck is out there listening, because at this point, you are the only one that did not know about this. And now you do. The advice that I would give to anyone who is entering college, although I don't think right now is probably the best advice because like we're all like stuck inside, but still, the best advice I would give to you if you're going to college is get to know your roommate before you do anything. Get to know your roommate's friends if they come over frequently, or just don't let anyone sleep over on the first night of college if they're too drunk and then they pee on you while you're sleeping. I don't know where that guy is, but if you're watching this, guy, I don't remember your name. It's been years now. It's been, how long has it been since then? What, fucking 9 years now? Like, I don't remember your name. I don't remember your fucking name. But I hope that you don't feel shame for what you did anymore. It's been a long time, but also this story has gotten me so many conversations started. I've made so many friends because you peed on me. So thank you for peeing on me and making my first night at college a memorable one. Because honestly, anyway, that's it for this video. I'm going to go back to work. I'm stuck at home, so all of my content is going to be from home. Instagram, everything is going to be from home for the most part. Usually I do go out and make content with my camera and do things outside, but I can't leave. I cannot leave my house. People I know have the virus now, and like I can't see my friends. So it's gonna be a tough 2020, but here goes to a beginning. So any beginning is better than no beginning. Have a good one. Don't get peed on.